Hi everyone, it's Karen and back with part 3 of our Let's Make a Paper Doll Together. And so this is the fun part. This is the embellishing. And this is what I enjoy so much. And I found these flat back pearls in my stash. They're from the dollar store. They have that sticky backing on them. And I just removed them individually off of that strip of sticky and glue them down with a bit of hot glue. I love the color match with the rose colored crocheted flat lace there on the back of the dress, and in combination with the different sort of rose and pink colors. I was sort of considering putting a cream colored flat back pearl in the middle of those flowers, but when I found these ones I really like them, so I go ahead and put these in the middle of all those dangle flowers that are coming down from the middle or the back part of her dress and down, cascading down the side and around, well, I guess around to the side. I mean, the one of them comes to the front, but I think the actual center of that flower is sort of on the side of the dress. So I don't think in the end you end up seeing it from the front, but let's see. I think it's the next one that I'm going to do, and we'll see how that. And I need to take that bow and iron it. It looks like that one side's a bit wrinkled, so we'll have to put that on my little ironing board and give that an iron, which is a big thing for me because ironing is not my favorite thing to do. Yes, that flower is right on the side of the dress, and so you will sort of see it a bit from the front. And then I think I also decide to add in a few pearls. I'm just cutting off one of those dangles. The trim from behind has the dangles hanging on, and some of them are just sticking straight out there after everything. And so I just trimmed them off because there's really no point to them anyway. So let's see what else I do with these pearls. Stay on track, Karen, for heaven's sake. Let's see. We're going to put some pearls in the eyes of the peacocks just to, again, pull some color, that little bit of pearly color into those. And I think eventually I do go back and put one in that flower there on the side of her dress. I'm pretty sure I do, because otherwise that would seem unfinished to me. And I think that's the only place I use those flat back pearls. And then we will go on to some more embellishing. All right, so the pearls are all in place, and as you'll see there, I did go back and put one in the center of that flower on the side of her dress. And now I'm playing with these pearls that are on a fishing line, and these are from Angel Dream Crafts Kim, and they're, I want to put a little bit more of an accent coming down from that flower at her waist, and I thought a few strands of these would be pretty, just sort of, dripping down from that flower there that I put at her waist and coming down onto her gown. So that's what I go ahead and do, is put the 3 of those in place there under the flower, just with a bit of hot glue. I think I do each one. I put 3 in total, and the one in the center is slightly shorter so that it does not hit up against the flower there that is in the center of those 3 peacock eyes in that trim. So there you can see those little pearls are in place. You may actually find it difficult to see them. I notice on the camera it probably doesn't show up, but they actually look quite pretty. There's sort of a bit of a sparkle that's added there with those little pearls, and more interest, more texture. And so now I'm pointing at the pearls that are in the center of the little flowers that I created to go on that side of her dress. And I want to add pearls into the center of those little ones that I cut out of the lace. So they have the 3 leaves and then the little flower with the sequins all around. And they don't have a pearl in the center. And I want them to match. And so I'm going to take some 4 millimeter flat back pearls and just a little dab of hot glue, and one at a time I will hand set those little pearls into the center of the flowers. I do a lot of hand setting of pearls, so I do find that it's easy just to hold them in my hand. I can do 4 millimeters and up. 4 millimeters is the smallest I can do. If I go smaller than 4 millimeters, I usually use some kind of a pickup tool to pick up the flatbacks with, but I find that I can manage the 4 millimeters with my fingers. And I just, I do them one at a time, because the key to getting them to set and not move or fall off is to apply them into the hot glue when it is hot. And so if you do even two at the same time, by the time you get to that second one, the glue is cooling down and the pearl maybe feels like it sets, but it never stays put. It always ends up falling off. So do them one at a time if you are going to do this type of work. It's worth it to take the time to do them one at a time and end up with pearls that stay in place. I have items that are over 5 years old, and all the pearls are still perfectly in place the way that I have put them in, and I've used the hot glue to set them in like that. So yeah, one at a time, slow process. Again, some people would find it terribly tedious and not enjoy it. For me, it is extremely enjoyable. So it's not a problem for me. If you didn't like doing that kind of thing, no problem. You could easily leave these flowers without adding the pearls to the center, and you know, it would still look absolutely beautiful. So I'm fussing there, doing a bit of trimming on the edge of that one flower. There was a strand there of the stitching that was sticking out, and to my eye and my somewhat, don't like to admit it, but I know I have a bit of OCD. You know, sometimes it just, some little thing will just drive me crazy, and I have to fiddle with it until I get it just right. So I think in the end, I miss doing one of the flowers, and I realize it later and go back and fill in that one that I missed there on the front. Now I want to work on her hair. She has a band in her hair, like a hairband, and then she has a flower and some greenery. And I often change up what's in their hair. I just do it the way that I want to do it, and I just try and cover what's there if it doesn't suit. So what I have decided to use is a piece of this curly Q trim that's the same that's on the waist of her dress. That's exactly the same. It's just a smaller piece, and I use that in her hair, and then I fussy cut out 3 tiny little flowers. They're probably about a centimeter across, maybe a little less. And I've got 2 of them laying there now with her head, and I do it. And I was thinking, oh, maybe I'll put those little roses in her hands, or I'll put those little roses in her hair, but they were too big and I didn't like them in her hand, and I had another idea for something that I wanted to put in her hands. To me, the way she's holding her hands, I feel something should be in them. So you will see that is coming. I do decide, and I do put something in her hands, and I do cut out a third little one of the flowers that's in her hair now, and I finish off that with the headband and 3 flowers, and then I use a little porcelain flower, I think in a rosy color, with those flowers in her hair in the end. So here you can see I did manage to finally finish her hair, and I started the piece that I wanted to put in her hands. I guess there's a bit of footage there I lost in my editing, so sorry about that. All I ended up doing was, you know, putting the scrolly thing in her hair, and those 3 little flowers I had mentioned, and then that tiny little rose in the center. It's a little tiny little porcelain rose, and that's what I decided I liked in the end to go on her head. And in her hands, all I have done is taken those a pearly strand that I had that I showed, and I took some of the beads off of that. It was an old piece of jewelry that somebody had given me, and I strung the beads onto a new piece of beading string, and I tied a knot in the end of them. And I always, when I do that type of work, I put some art glitter glue onto the knot. So I've just put a silicone mat there underneath the beads, and I'm going to put a little bit of glue there to seal that knot. Of course, I do not want that knot coming loose because I'm going to be dangling something onto it. And so to keep it nice and secure, that's what I do. And I do that actually with all of the knots that I make. And whenever I'm beading, I always add a little drop of glue. And the one thing nice about the art glitter glue that is it dries clear and it dries quickly, so there isn't a long wait time. So the art glitter glue is dry, and I'm just trimming off the ends of the thread, and I usually wait to trim them off until the glue is dry, because otherwise I have been surprised and ended up cutting the knot and having to start stringing all over again. But once you wait for that art glitter glue to dry, it's then you're good to cut the ends. And I've added a jump ring on to the ends where the knot was, and I'm adding one of the little pink hearts from Angel Dreamcrafts Kim. These are really pretty. They're a small little heart with a pink center and rhinestones around the edge. And when I held it up and put it into her hands, I thought, yes, that is exactly what I want her holding. I don't know what her story might be, but maybe she was planning on wearing this necklace around her neck, but the clasp broke, and so she's holding it in her hand. And I like the idea of it. I just thought it was really pretty, and it gave something in her hands other than a bouquet of flowers, which is what I have done before. I just wanted to do something different this time. So I just fuss a little bit, getting that just exactly the way I want it. Adding just a little bit of glue behind the top pearl to bring that up into her hand so that it lies really nicely. So I've just turned her over because I realized that I had not gone back onto the back of her dress when I was giving her a look over, and I hadn't added the pearls into the eyes of the peacock trim on the back of her dress. I had decided to do that when I flipped her to the front, but I had not remembered to go to the back. So when I was checking her all over thinking, is there anything else that I want to do? I realized that I needed to go and pop those pearls into place. So that is what I'm doing here. And again, just a little dab of glue, and one at a time, hand setting those pearls at the base of the eyes. And then there's one more thing. You might even have noticed it lying on my desk. I decided there was a final thing I wanted to do with this paper doll. It is Christmas time, and she was certainly taking on quite a festive look with her colors, the sort of the pink and the cream, and the off-white, and the lovely bling on her is definitely something that is Christmassy colors now. And so I am going to add one final thing. I just did a little bit of touch-up of glue underneath the base of that ribbon to make it lie so that it wasn't sticking out to the sides of her dress. And wait for it, because the final fun thing is coming. So if you haven't guessed already, I decided to make her an angel. And I had these two beautiful appliques in my stash. I've been hoarding them for a long time, and I cut probably about 3/4 of the actual applique, and I positioned them on her back. Now she is sort of standing and looking over her shoulder, kind of. So the one wing I've positioned it here, and it's going to be on the front of her dress and go down. And then the other one will come. It'll be a little bit smaller, and it will come from the other side, and sort of the idea looking that it's coming from her back. But I just decided that she really did look very angelic, and that there was no reason not to go ahead and make her a pretty angel. And again, something different as the last few paper dolls I've made, some of which I've not even shown on camera, but I've made. I did leave them as just paper dolls, but this one I really wanted to make her into an angel. So I just apply that applique to the side and attach it just behind the flower there. And then I will apply the other one to the other side, and then you will see the final reveal. So here she is, ladies. There are her wings in place, her beautiful necklace in her hand, the lovely dress with all the details on the front. Everything that we've gone over is all finished and complete, and she's a lovely, pretty angel. I do put a satin ribbon attached to the top of her head, and just put a little bit of a flower embellishment on the back just so that it's finished off, and so that she can easily be hung on a tree or on a doorknob or on the wall. And I think she would be quite pretty to have as part of your Christmas decorations. And there I am adding that pearl that I missed in the first go around. Suddenly dawned on me, and there it was. So I'm going to add some pictures at the end so that you can get a close-up look at all the details. And I hope that you enjoyed watching me create this pretty paper doll, and that you will maybe be able to create one of your own. And I would love to see pictures of it. If you have YouTube videos or you post it on your Facebook group, tag me so that I know that it's up. I'd love to see it. Or you can pop me an email. My email is in the description box, so if you do put something up, I'd love to see it, and you can let me know. And I want you guys to all take care, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye for now.